Hey everyone, you have me live here at the start of this video, but before we do get to the video, I just wanted to quickly mention that I purchased a copy of Star Wars Bloodline by Claudia Gray, which you see here in front of you, and I just thought that I'd mention that I'm making my way through it right now as we speak, and you guys can expect a full book review for the book, and also too I'm planning a couple of related videos. Just because there's a lot of interesting things in there, I think it would be interesting if I can touch on a couple of the important aspects. But I just thought I would mention that up front. What I'll do now is I'll turn it over to the non-canon expert, where I think he's going to talk about Snoke, Kylo Ren, and a potential balancing of the Force. So I hope you guys enjoy the video, and we'll talk to you guys soon. In the Star Wars universe, a lot of things come in twos. 2 Death Stars, 2 lightsabers, 2 suns, a set of twins, 2 Sith as per the rule of 2, and of course, 2 sides to the Force, the light side and the dark side. In the never-ending quest for progress, humans have engaged in the pursuit to get 2 into 1, and therefore, it was only a matter of time until we saw a dark side user who attempted to embody both the dark and light sides of the Force, thereby utilizing the benefits from each as needed. In this video expose, I will demonstrate that Kylo Ren is being trained by Supreme Leader Snoke as a dark side user who also embraces and embodies the teachings of the light side of the Force. I will also attempt to answer the question that keeps a non-canon expert like me up at night. Can Snoke and Kylo Ren actually be successful in balancing the Force in this way, pulling from the light and the dark? If only there was a former character who was a Dark Lord of the Sith as descendant from the Baneite system implemented by Darth Bane, who could give us some important insight. Luckily there is. There is, and it's this guy. He's the reason for doing this video. But let's get to that in a minute. From what we currently know about Supreme Leader Snoke and Kylo Ren, it is clearly evident that Snoke is training Kylo Ren in a way that approximates a balancing of the Force. Certainly more so than we've seen any Sith accept the teachings of the light, or any Jedi accept the teachings of the dark, in the canon. Supreme Leader Snoke sought out Kylo Ren as an apprentice, as he represented a focal point between the light side and the dark side of the Force, which Snoke saw as being the ideal embodiment of a Force warrior. Snoke envisioned Kylo Ren as being bolstered as a Force user who embodied the light and the dark, in that he was the direct descendant of some of the strongest Jedi and Sith of all time. Supreme Leader Snoke encouraged Kylo Ren to use the combined light and dark side heritage of his as a way of increasing his conflict internally and draw upon it. We also know that Kylo Ren's training includes the studying of skills used by the Jedi in addition to those traditionally used by the dark side. Importantly, we also see that Kylo Ren has embraced and utilized the teachings from both the dark side and the light as a methodology to increase his strength. Therefore, it appears that we have in Kylo Ren a dark side user who is willing to incorporate the teachings of the light and the skills of the Jedi. But, can Kylo Ren balance the Force in this way successfully? Can any dark side user successfully incorporate the teachings of the light? Well, fortunately for us, there was a book that was written, but never existed apparently, that provides us with the example of Darth Gravid and his apprentice Darth Jean, the latter of which officially being the least cool name imaginable. So let's learn a little bit about Darth Gravid, shall we? Darth Gravid was a human male who was a Dark Lord of the Sith within the lineage of Darth Bane's Sith Order and the Rule of 2. His reign was right in between Darth Bane's reformation of the Sith and Darth Sidious's rise as Emperor of the Galaxy, which is roughly 500 years before Sidious's rule. In accordance with the Baneite system and the Rule of 2, Darth Gravid took on a Sith apprentice, a female Twi'lek, granting her the name of Darth Jean. Importantly for us, similar to Kylo Ren, Darth Gravid was pulled to the light side of the Force. However, unlike Jedi who have fallen to the dark side, or Sith who fell to the light, Darth Gravid did not completely reject one side of the Force in favor of the opposite side. Rather, Darth Gravid came to the view that an absolute commitment and dedication to the dark side of the Force was a flaw in the Sith Order's structure, and would ultimately lead to its destruction. Therefore, instead of completely rejecting the dark side outright and embracing the light, Darth Gravid attempted to incorporate the doctrines, teachings, and lifestyle of the Jedi into his teachings and practices as a Dark Lord of the Sith. This attempt to balance and amalgamate the light and dark sides of the Force had profound effects on Darth Gravid. It caused him to lose his sanity and brought him to the conclusion that in order to continue the Sith Order along the path of his new combined light and dark philosophy, he had to destroy the Sith artifacts, holocrons, and tomes that were passed down to him by the Dark Lords of the Sith who came before him. Although Darth Gravid succeeded in destroying a number of important pieces of Sith lore, his apprentice Darth Jean was able to confront her master, overpower him, and kill him, but not before taking significant damage herself and dealing a significant setback to the Sith Order. Therefore, Darth Gravid represents a dark side user who attempted to combine the teachings of the light and dark sides of the Force prior to Supreme Leader Snoke and Kylo Ren. However, with disastrous results. It must be asked, can Kylo Ren avoid the destruction that accepting the teachings of the light and dark may bring the user as represented through Darth Gravid? If we think about it, Darth Gravid's failure in being able to adequately practice and embrace the light and dark due to its potential difficulty makes sense, given the fact that an individual would have to perform acts as a dark side user and then have to live with them as an adherent to the light, or vice versa. Whereas Darth Gravid lost his sanity through the practice, we do see that Kylo Ren was prone to violent emotional outbursts when annoyed or facing frustrating circumstances. Although a lot of people have thought lesser of Kylo Ren due to these outbursts, seeing them as similar to a child's temper tantrum, these outbursts are right in line with the internal conflict that Supreme Leader Snoke is pushing to increase within Kylo Ren. So, will Kylo Ren go the route of Darth Gravid? Most likely not. From a story standpoint, nobody wants to see Kylo Ren fail as an apprentice to Snoke. We want to see him become a ruthless badass who represents a legitimate threat to the protagonist. But I also think there are character reasons for why Kylo Ren will be able to successfully function as a dark side user who embraces and incorporates light side teachings into their philosophy where Darth Gravid failed. And these reasons will make Kylo Ren's hopefully impressive transformation between The Force Awakens and Episode 8 acceptable and worth the wait. The first is with the character of Kylo Ren himself. Supreme Leader Snoke is interested in training Kylo Ren to embrace both sides of the Force, as his dark and light heritages literally provide Snoke with the materials for which to build a Force user who embodies the dark and light sides of the Force. Therefore, this heritage and lineage of powerful Sith and Jedi to whom Kylo Ren is directly connected to seems to make him much better off in being trained to accept and draw from both sides of the Force, and Snoke is training Kylo Ren in a manner in which to do so. Also, we must look at the character of Supreme Leader Snoke, as the success of Kylo Ren's training in the light and dark hangs upon Snoke. Although we are told that Snoke is wise through Kylo Ren's final conversation with his father, it will be interesting to see exactly how Snoke was able to train a dark side user who is able to utilize the skills and teachings of the light. From The Force Awakens, it does appear that Snoke is training Kylo Ren slowly, introducing new concepts once he has succeeded in taking steps that Snoke views positively. If he really turns out to be supremely wise, then it is likely that we will see a very powerful Kylo Ren in Episode 8, who can utilize some balance of both the light and the dark. Further, I believe it is important that Supreme Leader Snoke personally witnessed the rise and fall of the Galactic Empire, is a dark side user himself, and knew that Darth Vader was the grandfather of Ben Solo, and that he's also the nephew to Luke Skywalker. It is very plausible that Snoke knows that the Sith lineage and the Rule of Two failed with the deaths of Darth Sidious and Darth Vader, intimating that a new approach to the dark side is necessary, other than a purely dogmatic devotion, and he may have been working on such a philosophy to use the light and the dark together in some form for a long period of time prior to The Force Awakens. Because Snoke and Kylo Ren know this history that's come before them, it is likely that they are more accepting of the idea of embracing the teachings of the light within their use of the dark side. There we have it, a rather acceptable reason why Supreme Leader Snoke and Kylo Ren can succeed in utilizing light side teachings as a dark side user where Darth Gravid previously failed. We love making these videos, so why not subscribe for more fun Star Wars theories and discussions? Also, if you enjoyed the video, think about giving a like or leaving a comment. If not for me, for Confused C3PO.